Today is a good day. The sun is shining brightly today, and such a beautiful sunrise today, I say to myself. And let's not forget that the birds are, of course, chirping and flapping their wings. So yeah, today, I'm just going to look at my YouTube to see how I'm doing so far. Maybe check the community tab, to see what y'all people want. I did make a post. Let me check on that. Okay, let's go down, check the comments. Oh, y'all want this? Oh yeah, I went to work and decided to look up if there were videos for Tales of Arcadia power scaling. Unfortunately, there was nothing. No video related to Tales of Arcadia power scaling. No!
Oh God! No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, I know it's sad, guys, but hey, don't worry, guys. Keep your head up, King, because I will be there no matter what to come in clutch for the Tales of Arcadia community. Now, as you guys know from my channel, that I'm sort of a WIS editor, and the reason why I am making this video is because I feel like Tales of Arcadia is very underrated when it comes to power scaling, especially on short edits like this where you make videos power scaling characters, and then people say you're either a glazer or shut up, little bro, or whatever. So that's the real reason I'm making this video. So for the record, I don't hate other WIS editors, so I don't want to make this video seem like I'm trying to hate on other WIS editors. Like, I love what y'all do. I mean, y'all make great edits. Me, on the other hand, not so much. But again, I don't hate WIS editors. In fact, I'm a big fan of a popular one. Y'all might know him in the community as JS Battles. I'm a big fan of his work and what he does, and he is a great editor.
That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
However, we should properly scale the Tales of Arcadia characters better. But hey, you know what, GOAT? You do you, GOAT. But unfortunately today, I am here to, help my agenda out. So yeah. Let's just jump into it right now. So there are a few rules that we're going to have to follow for power scaling for Tales of Arcadia. And those rules are attack potency, durability, reaction, combat speed. I'm choosing to ignore travel speed due to the fact that, travel speed doesn't really matter for power scaling that much. And let me state this. Just because you don't have the DC destructive capability to destroy, something that would scale like a planet or something, doesn't mean you're not planet level. And I have to specify this because otherwise I'll have people telling me, how is this character planet level? They can't destroy a planet, because that's not how this works. Okay, so now the first character may not come to a surprise, but the first character is going to be Jim Lake Jr., aka James Lake Jr., aka the one and only Troll Hunter. Even as a human, Jim Lake Jr. was pretty impressive as a troll hunter, as he was able to accomplish many feats along the way. Now, before we discuss feats of Jim, I do have to specify his true power source, being what we know as the Amulet of Daylight. Now, the Amulet of Daylight is actually a pretty powerful weapon, considering it can charge the Heart of Avalon, and I'll let Merlin explain what that is.
Heart of Avalon. Its magic keeps Camelot aloft, powered by time itself.
So yeah, the Heart of Avalon is pretty powerful, and the amulet being able to charge it is pretty impressive. And also, if you're wondering how else with this scale and why is this such an important feat, well, considering that Nari, one of the creators of the universe, can also charge the Heart of Avalon, you can basically scale the amulet to Nari's magic, which again, like I said, was able to charge the Heart of Avalon. He was also, while in the Darklands, able to beat a Neoligroth, which is a creature capable of causing mountain-level earthquakes. Jim, with only a couple of months of training, was also able to defeat Bular, a trained troll who was able to be relative to the Amulet of Daylight. Jim was stated to be the strongest of the troll hunters, so he would outscale even the troll hunters in the comics, which were able to defeat mountain-sized trolls. So yeah, that's human Jim. Now we can jump onto the GOAT troll Jim, who is very easy to also power scale, considering that he can fight a bunch of Gum-Gums, which are trolls that can be relative to Arrrgh and String, who can stop a 50-ton train in its place, which is a pretty impressive feat. Not only that, he can fight for long periods of time, since he is a half troll, half human, which was stated to be capable of doing feats that weren't even known as possible yet. Which, another feat he has, is facing both Gunmar and Angor Rot at the same time, which Gunmar is a troll who outscales the Amulet of Daylight completely, because it was stated that the sword or the powers of the Amulet of Daylight could never really kill Gunmar. And Angor Rot is a character who can face against Morgana, so yeah. Jim is also a character who can endure multiple blows from Morgana, and even stab through her armor, which not even the Eternal Knight could damage her armor, and that's able to create a planet-sized move. Now, I know as much as we like to pretend that Rise of the Titans doesn't exist, we have to face the fact that this is probably the strongest Jim has ever been, considering that he's able to wield Excalibur, one of the most powerful weapons in the verse, considering it was created by Nimue, the goddess of the lake, and also boosted by Merlin's magic, which makes Excalibur incredibly strong compared to the average, equipment, with also Jim getting a boost from it by being worthy of Excalibur in the first place. Let's also not forget the fact that Jim's new amulet is a lot more stronger than his old amulet, considering that it has been fused with Acaridian technology, which is strong enough to survive blast from God Mirando's beam, which is powerful enough to shake the universe itself, which is a calc to be a solar system level feat. So it would make this Jim's armor stronger than his current armor, and then boosted by Merlin. People like to also forget that Jim was also wounded during his fight with Bellroc. He had 3 bruised ribs and 1 cracked rib and a burnt hand, and yet he still overpowered Bellroc. Which, this is an impressive feat considering that Bellroc was known as the ultimate threat, which means that she would outscale Morando with Galen's core and Morgana with Merlin's magic, both being in the Uni Plus ranges to low multi ranges.
Millennia awaiting a reckoning of epic proportions, a reckoning this world or any other has never seen.
Now, if you're wondering what makes Morgana in the low multi ranges, here let me explain to you why I believe that's the case. Considering that she has absorbed all of Merlin's magic, which Merlin's magic is able to create pocket dimensions, as we saw in one of the Wizards episodes where Douxie has to burn through Merlin's staff to get the Genesis Seals, which, he had to get it through a pocket dimension. Merlin also is the reason why the Troll Hunter's afterlife exists, the Void Between Worlds, which, like I said, it's the Void Between Worlds, it's in the name. So yeah, that's pretty surf beta. He also possesses all the arcane energies of the universe, which there's multiple realms and stuff like that in the universe itself. So yeah, I see the argument of low multi. And of course, the Staff of Avalon and what it truly means, with the heavens and stuff like that in mythology, so that makes sense. Also not forget that Morgana does have arguments for 7D scaling due to the fact that she's the Eldritch Witch of the 7th plane. However, I'll let you interpretate that, because that could mean 7D scaling. However, it also could just mean nothing. But yeah, I'll let you guys interpret that, but that would put Morgana in the complex multiversal ranges of attack potency, and of course that would scale to her durability as well, so you do with that information as you please. And of course, God Miranda would outscale due to Toby's statement of Morgana, he's stronger than Morgana. Speaking of Toby, it should be pretty simple to scale him, considering that his Warhammer is strong enough to destroy the Amulet of Daylight, which its power level can stab through Morgana. His armor, which the Eternal Knight could not do any damage to it, which was able to create a planet-sized moon. And Toby's hammer is also able to destroy the Shadow Staff, which the Shadow Staff can collide with the Sword of Daylight's power, and Excalibur, which are both in the Uni Plus to low multi ranges through Morgana scaling. Also, thanks to Newton's third law, you can also scale this to Toby's durability, considering that he is able to endure the output of energy and power that he uses with the hammer, and also scales to Claire's armor, which can survive multiple blows from characters like Morgana and the Arcane Order. Claire's actually pretty strong when you think about it, considering that not only in her prior, Season 1 and 2 and 3, she can already fight goblins, which a horde of goblins can devour an entire truck, and was threatened to be able to devour the entire town of Arcadia, destroy Arcadia. And not only that, but she's able to spar with Jim, shown relativity to Jim as well. And then she briefly traded blows with Angor Rot, who was a character relatively to the Amulet of Daylight's power, which Angor Rot's power was boosted by Morgana. And that's not even contributing the fact that Claire also got a boost from Morgana during, C's abilities, and was able to even harm Morgana when she had Merlin's power as well. And then in Wizards, we gotta remember that the fact that she's shown relatively to Douxie, although slightly weaker, would have faced 2 of the Arcane Order members, by himself, by the way, and be able to knock them out for a while. And also, she showed relatively to Morgana in the Shadow Realm, improving her superiority, and and she's not really fully mastered her abilities yet, so she has the potential to. Now we could get to Blinky and Arrrgh, and we're going to start with Blinky first. And Blinky's actually pretty impressive when it comes to feats. For starters, he has those Dvork Stones that are able to damage Morgana's armor, which not even the Eternal Knight could do that. And like I said before, I'm probably going to state this over and over again as a feat. But it's a pretty impressive feat, And also, he's strong enough to grab Arrrgh by the horns and throw him, which is pretty cool. It was stated in the books to be able to do that. And again, he took down 3 mountain trolls in the book as well, which is pretty impressive. And then, just like Claire, he could take on and fight hordes of goblins. So, you know, that should put him in the town level, planet level ranges. You know, that's pretty strong. Arrrgh is also pretty impressive too, considering that he can fight Gunmar in his prime, when they're both in their prime, of course. He can also damage Morgana, and then he can fight characters like Angor Rot. And again, he showed relativity to Bular, which is a pretty impressive feat, because Bular showed relativity to all the troll hunters, which Arrrgh would scale to Bular. In fact, would be slightly a lot stronger now, and can also survive a slap from God Morando, who could crush stars with his fist, and also damage Colonel Kupritz with her mech suit, who can also damage God Morando, and was stated to have weakened him. Now that I ran through the stuff you already probably know from the last video, now we could talk about the new stuff with some characters that didn't get to be in the last video because it was a 9th configuration video. Next is Draw the Deadly, who should likely be in the large planetary levels, probably even far higher. He was briefly able to trade blows with characters like Bular, Angor Rot, and Gunmar, even though he was overpowered by Gunmar eventually. Still impressive feat, considering that he should be relative to Arrrgh's strength, who can damage Morgana, whilst the Eternal Knight could not. And as for his lifting strength, like strength-wise, like he was strong enough to throw Nomura into the horizons, which was an impressive feat. The next person we're going to be talking about is Walter Stricklander. He's probably likely in the large planetary levels, considering that he can damage characters like Angor Rot and Bular, and he was able to stagger Jim back for a little while when he threw a knife at him, which is an impressive feat. He's also durable enough to take blows from Angor Rot, and should have similar durability to characters like Nomura, which he should scale to. Speaking of Nomura, she should also be in the large planetary ranges, likely far higher, considering that she's able to fight Jim for a frequently amount of time. She's also able to fight Draw and even hurt Draw. And of course, she can even go toe-to-toe with Gunmar, which Season 2 Jim, you know, failed against going against Gunmar. And for her durability, she's able to take blows from Gunmar. She's able to take a blow from Jim as well. And then again, she also has that impressive feat with surviving getting thrown into the horizon by Draw the Deadly. Up next is the Gum Prince himself, Bular the Butcher. Now, he's pretty easy to scale, considering that he should at least be in the large planetary level, considering that he scales above characters like Arrrgh, who can damage Morgana. Now, honestly, he's in the universal ranges, considering that he showed relativity to the Amulet of Daylight by being able to kill characters like Kanjigarg, and including Dea as well, who Dea was a character who was able to go against Gunmar, and even first Merlin to defend himself with in the past. Bular is also a character who is strong enough to cause low-level earthquakes and should scale above the Neologroff's earthquakes, which are calculated to be in the mountain-level ranges. Now, for durability, he's able to survive many slashes from the Daylight Sword, which power is in the uni ranges like I told you, and he's also able to take many blows from Arrrgh, who was able to even stagger Gunmar in his prime during the past events of Wizards. Up next is the troll assassin Angor Rot. Now, Angor Rot should at least be in the large planetary levels, considering that, again, he can harm Morgana, who can survive in the Eternal Night, but also he's in the universal range because he's relative to the Amulet of Daylight, considering that he's able to face Jim, and he even might be even stronger than human Jim. And he can also trade blows with Troll Jim, and he staggered Arrrgh with a kick. And he's also shown to be superior to characters like Draw. Now, for his durability, he's able to survive a punch from Strickler, he's able to take a beating from Draw, and he's also able to survive attacks from, you know, Arrrgh, and he survived longer for periods of time against the Eclipse Blade, which certain characters couldn't survive in the verse, which again has universal attack potency. Up next is Gunmar the Black. Now, he should at least be in the large planetary levels, considering he should scale above Angor Rot and above Arrrgh, who can wound Morgana. He's also superior to King Arthur, who is able to split the clouds in the skies. He's also superior to characters like Dea and Season 3 Human Jim, who wield the power of the amulet, which scales to the Heart of Avalon and Nari's feat of charging it. He's also superior to trolls like Gato, who is a mountain troll, to where even the point where he can make Gato fear him. He's also superior to a troll called Calepstrum, who is able to swallow Atlantis. He also held his own against Arrrgh and harmed him, although he did get overpowered by him later, but he was in a weakened state. He also overpowered and subdued Draw and possessed him. And then he got even stronger after absorbing the Troll Market's Heartstone. He then became more powerful than ever and was deemed unstoppable by Blinky himself, which scales him above Season 3 Jim, Season 3 Claire, Season 3 Toby, Season 3 Blinky, Season 4 Arrrgh. And then again, he overpowered Draw again, and he's also able to harm half Troll Gym. And also he fought against Angor Rot, which is a pretty impressive feat. Now for durability, he regularly beats up Arrrgh and takes, beatings from Arrrgh. He survived getting pushed back by King Arthur. He survived blows from Dea, and he also took several blows from Argmon. It was also stated that the Amulet of Daylight could never really wound or kill Gunmar, which means his durability would scale above the Amulet of Daylight's power. He's much more powerful than before with the Heartstorm's absorption, because he could take blows from half Troll Jim, who was superior to any troll that came before him, and Angor Rot as well. Now that we've knocked the Troll Hunter segment out, now we can finally head on to the characters that are in 3 below. First character is Angor Tarron. Her AP without weapons should be around town level, considering she is above Steve Poucha, overpowered his coach, who could throw his phone out of sight. She also should be able above Varvatos in his human form, in which she was capable of stopping a taco truck at full speed and taking on Omen bots. With weapons, she could scale to Season 3 Human Gym, considering she's above Tronos, which I said before has country level AP. She's also able to damage God Morando, who's way stronger than Morgana, which has the power to reshape the universe and crush stars and form them into planets. For durability, it should be in the country level ranges, at least tanking attacks from Tronos. But her Serrator is able to shield her from attacks from God Morando, which of course that is very much an impressive feat for Angor Tarron. The next character, Krell Tarron. Krell Tarron doesn't usually fight, so he does lack in combat, but does have pretty good tech that should help him with scaling. For starters, he has a Serrator, which is an alien weapon. It is able to damage God Morando, which God Morando is a being that has universal level power due to him scaling way higher than Morgana. He's also able to damage Varvatos, but granted, he was probably holding back, so I don't know if you could count that. Now for his durability, he should be in the country level ranges at least, even maybe planetary ranges, due to the fact that he can survive attacks from Tronos electricity, which is strong enough to destroy a country plus asteroid. And he also should scale off of that, being able to survive attacks from the Arcane Order, which are creators that created the universe. Up next is the protector of the Terran children, Varvatos Vex. Now Varvatos Vex is pretty easy to scale as well, considering that he was able to split a laser in half that was able to destroy a country-sized asteroid. He's also a character who has overpowered characters who scale relatively or even below him, being Zadra, who is also able to, scale to characters who could damage God Morando. Speaking of God Morando, he's also strong enough to hold back a laser for God Morando for a decent amount of time, and then he survived the beam from God Morando. Speaking of Morando, our next person is going to be Morando, who in base form should be relative to characters like Varvatos Vex, considering that he has overpowered Varvatos, or likely scales higher than Varvatos and Zadra. As for Morando with Galen's core, he should at least be large planetary level plus, considering he scales above Morgana, and Galen's core was stated to be able to destroy and create planets at will.
Whoever uses his core has the power to create and destroy entire planets.
He also has the strength to crush stars and has the power to reshape and destroy the universe.
Galen's core holds the power to destroy a universe.
This should put Morando with Galen's core in the universal ranges of AP and durability, but with scaling to above Morgana, you can put him in the low multiversal ranges of AP and durability as well. Now this is going to wrap up our 3 below segments, so now we can head on to the characters and wizards. The next character we are going to be going over is Douxie Casper. Now for him, he should at least be in the large planetary levels, considering that he scales above Arrrgh and, scales relative to Troll Gym, or able to damage Morgana's armor, which Eternalite could not. Now he's at least in the universal ranges of attack potency, considering that he can fight Morgana, who is juiced up by the Arcane Order, which she was considered a 9th level sorceress, which this would be an impressive feat for Douxie. Up next is Merlin Ambrosius. Now he's pretty easy to scale, considering that he was casually able to remove the moon that Morgana created during the Eternal Night. He's also a character who is powerful enough to possess all the arcane energies of the universe itself, which there are multiple realms of the universe, which casually gives him low multiversal scaling. He's also powerful enough to create the afterlife of the troll hunters, called the Void Between Worlds. Interesting fact about Merlin, he created the Heart of Avalon, which is able to create rifts through time and can destroy the fabric of time as well. He's also relative to Morgana, who is able to create a weapon into the Shadow Realm, which is a void of endless nothingness. He's also a character who is able to go toe-to-toe with the Arcane Order for millennia. Also, Merlin is somebody who is able to master time and can even pause time, and like I said, he can also create pocket dimensions. Up next is the Mother of Monsters, Morgana LeFay. She's pretty easy to scale, considering that she created a large planet-sized moon, which would be in the large planet levels of AP. And again, she scales relatively to Merlin, who we just talked about, who possesses all the arcane energies of the universe and create the Heart of Avalon. She's also able to completely obliterate Team Troll Hunter, which includes Troll Jim, Arrrgh, Blinky, Toby, and Claire, which is a pretty impressive feat. She was also able to create a Shadow Staff, which is a powerful weapon that can go toe-to-toe with the Staff of Avalon, and even open up dimensional portals to the Shadow Realm. She was also resurrected from the Arcane Order and got juiced up by all of their powers and abilities. And then she was also able to face characters like Arthur, who possesses the Excalibur Blade, which is a pretty strong weapon in the verse. She's also able to hold her own against the Green Knight, which is a character who was able to murder Merlin completely. Like I brought up before, she also has a statement with being the Eldritch Queen of the 7th plane of reality, which you can interpret and decide if you want to count that as 7D scaling, which if you do, would again put Morgana in the complex multiversal ranges of AP and durability. Up next is the Green Knight, who outscales every one of the 9th configuration, including characters like Troll Jim and Arrrgh. He's also a character who can easily ragdoll characters like Morgana, and he even brutally murdered Merlin. Just like Morgana, he is boosted by the Arcane Order, but only 2 of the members this time. He's also a character who can beat up characters like full Troll Jim as well. But yeah, overall this should put the Green Knight in the low universal ranges to low multiversal ranges, and with 7D scaling should put him in the complex multi-ranges. Up next is Nari the Eternal Force. Now she should at least be in the large planetary levels, considering that she scales above Morgana's feat of moving the moon itself, and also she is above Morgana because Morgana bows down to her, and she is obviously the more powerful sorcerer because she was one of the creators of the universe. Nari should have universal AP and universal durability, considering that, like I said before, she was able to power the Heart of Avalon, which is time itself. Nari has gotten an increase after the Genesis Seals were open, because considering that they described Nari and the other members of the Arcane Order with their Titans as the ultimate threat, which means she outscales every previous antagonist from the franchise, which includes God Morando, who can reshape the universe itself, and Morgana, who can move the moon and was powerful enough to create a portal into the Shadow Realm. With her Titan, she is also considered above characters like Galen, who can crush stars and reform them into planets, being the ultimate threat to the franchise. Up next is Skrael the North Wind. Now he's pretty easy to scale, considering that he also scales relative to Nari, who again scales above Morgana, who moved the moon, and also was powerful enough to empower Morgana along with the Arcane Order, and is one of the creators of the universe itself. Now when the Genesis Seals broke open again, like I said, their power was increased, and now them with their Titans outscale all the previous antagonists and even Merlin himself. Skrael's Titan is even more impressive, considering that he was able to clash alongside Nari's Titan. The final character we are going to be going over with is Bellroc, Keeper of the Flame. For starters, Bellroc should easily be in the universal range of attack potency, considering that she massively scales above characters like Nari and Merlin. With being stronger than Merlin, she also has low multiversal attack potency and durability as well. Her power also got increased when the Genesis Seals were open. After that, her powers were charged to near omnipotence. She was easily able to beat the Gunmar Rot and overpower all of the 9th configuration at once. With her Titan, she's superior to beings like Galen and God Morando, who are able to reshape the fabric of the universe itself. She's also casually able to output the amount of energy it needs to create a Shadow Staff, which it took Morgana a little while to be able to do that. But like I said before, she's also seen as the ultimate threat to the protagonist of the series. This is the normal tier list, and this is the tier list if you believe that Morgana is 7D with complex multiversal scaling. By the way, most of the verse scales to God Morando in combat speed and reaction speed, considering that he can react to and hit Acaridian ships mid-flight. So yeah guys, that was another Tales of Arcadia power scaling video down. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and tell me what other topics you want me to discuss. And I think we can all agree that at least Tales of Arcadia is pretty strong, am I right guys?
Am I right? Am I right?
So don't forget,
You didn't see anything.